In this video, I am going to show you how to auto-populate data based on the selection of data from the drop-down list in another cell. So we have got two sheets here. This is the invoice sheet where we'll be entering the customer name, and in the second sheet we have the list of customer with the customer names and their address. So what I need to do is, in the invoice sheet I have to create a drop-down list over here which will populate all the customer names, and based on the selection of the data from the drop-down list I have to auto-populate the data, that is the address, in these cells. So let's see how we can do this. So let's go to the customer table. So we have the data range over here. First of all, we'll convert this data range into the table so that in future if I have to add some more data in this, they should be auto-populated into the drop-down list. So we'll select the cells, press Ctrl T. Make sure that my table as header is ticked. We'll click on OK. And we have converted this data range into the table. So just go to the table design and we'll give some name to this table. So I'll give it as customer list. So what I want to do is I want to create a drop down list of these names into the customer name, into this cell. So to get the names, what I'll do is I'll type equal to the table name that we had created, customer list, open bracket, that is a square bracket, and I'll select the customer name here, close the square bracket. I'll copy this and press enter. So that formula is basically giving you all the customer names over here. So I've copied that formula. I'll go to formulas tab and I'll click on define name. I'll give a reference name for this, so we'll just add some name to this. I'll keep it as customer underscore dropdown. And the formula which we copied, we'll just paste it here and click OK. Let's go back to the invoice sheet. I'll select this cell, go to data. We'll create a drop down list here. So I'll click on data validation, select list, and in the source I'll give that reference of the customer table that we had created from in the name manager. So I'll just press F3, that is a shortcut, and I'll select customer drop down that we had created in the name manager. I'll click OK and OK. So if you see, we have got a drop down list with all the customer names. Now based on the selection of this cell, we need to auto populate the address in these cells. So if you look at the table, we have got customer name in column A, customer B in column 2, and so on. So to get the address, we'll use VLOOKUP formula. So we'll use equal to VLOOKUP. So the lookup value will be the customer name which we will select from the drop down. We'll click on this cell. For table array, we'll type the customer list table name that we created in the customer sheet. So if you just type CUST, you will get the table name over here, comma, column index. So in this table, the address one is in the column 2. So I'll type 2 over here. Range lookup, we need exact match, so we'll just type 0, close the bracket and press enter, and you will get the address 1 in this particular cell. So that is Simon Sambhawa Chambers. If you go back and check, it is Simon Sambhawa Chambers. So now we need to also populate address to city and state over here. One of the option is like we can type the VLOOKUP formula again in these cells, which will be time consuming task. So rather than doing that, what we can do is we can change our formula here in VLOOKUP. So if you look at the column index number, we have selected column 2 that was in the table. So we'll just delete this, and instead of that we can use the row function over here. So the row function actually returns the value which is in the particular row what we will mention here. So I'll just type B because address 1 was in column B, and that is it 2, that is a row number. I close this. Also we will freeze the lookup value because we want the same lookup value when we drag these cells below. So I'll just I'll click on this lookup value and press F4. So I've freezed that cell and we'll press enter. Now let's drag it below and you'll get the address over here. Now if I have to change the company name, say MSPL Limited, you will see the address has been changed. Let's go back to the customer sheet and check whether the values are correct. So that is MSPL Oshiwara Santa Cruz Nagpur Maharashtra. So MSPL Oshiwara Santa Cruz Nagpur Maharashtra. So it is working fine. Let's change one more company. So Harman International, Dr. Ambedkar Road, Khar, Mumbai, Maharashtra. The values are correct. So just because we have created a table here, we have converted this data range into a table. Let's add one more value here and check whether the new value which we add in this table is getting populated in the drop down list or not. So I'll just enter something over here, say A, B. So just for the sake of typing, I have entered this. Let's go back to the invoice sheet and check. If you click on this company name, you will see that the data which we entered now is reflecting in this sheet. So one more thing which I wanted to show you is, suppose if I delete the address 2 from here and say from here, so Nimbus and MSPL, if I go back to invoice sheet and select Nimbus, because there is no data in address 2, it is showing it as 0. Same way if I select MSPL, it will show us 0 over here, but which doesn't look good, and if there is no address over there, it should look blank. So what we can do is we can select this cells, go to properties, that is control 1, click on custom. Instead of general, we'll delete this and we'll put a semicolon here and click OK. So once you do that, even if there is no data in these cells, in any of the cells, you won't get 0 over here. Instead you will get a blank. So that is how you can auto populate the data based on the selection of a customer name that was done for my requirement. But if you have any other requirement, you can similarly use this uh, video to auto populate your data based on the cell selected in the other cells.